Mello TV Evening News at 8 is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Coronavirus is in Jamaica, and I know you feel scared and worried. But you can't let COVID-19 divide us. Coronavirus infects all kinds of people. It doesn't discriminate. So why should you? When someone coughs or sneezes or shows signs of the virus, tell them to call 888-1-LOVE immediately. And remember, stay 3 feet away, but don't attack or disrespect them, because we're all in this thing together. Come on, Jamaica, cut the hate and don't discriminate. Let us stand together and fight COVID-19 as one family, one nation.
Tonight, father of missing U.W.I student Jasmine Dean says Father's Day was very hard and is appealing to anyone with information to come forward.
Well, I'm tell you the truth, family. Come on, me not see how me have a Father's Day, because I have my picnic.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness urges members of the public to guard against the effects of the Saharan dust expected to affect the island until Thursday. Still tonight, Prime Minister appoints attorneys Mr. Leslie Campbell and Ms. TOVA Hamilton to the Senate. And MP for Central Manchester Peter Bunting has been appointed as co-director of the PNP'S election campaign, alongside Eastern Kingston and Port Royal's MP PHILLIP Paulwell.
Good evening. In breaking news tonight, there are now 665 cases of COVID-19 on the island. The Ministry of Health has reported 6 new cases in the last 24 hours, and the number of recoveries remains at 516. Still making news tonight, Lloyd Dean, father of missing University of the West Indies student Jasmine Dean, says yesterday's Father's Day was very hard and is appealing to anyone with information on her whereabouts to come forward. More on this report with Killeen May.
It was not a normal Father's Day yesterday for Lloyd Dean, father of missing Jasmine Dean, who was last seen in the Papine area in St. Andrew on February 27, who expressed that he can't fully celebrate the day without knowing the whereabouts of his daughter.
Well, I'm tell you the truth, family. Come on, me not see how me have a Father's Day, because I have my picnic. Me have the rest of the youth them, yes, and the youth them make me feel good, you know? As a father, same way, but I want my youth, because I can't see Father's Day without that one. I can imagine when time I there on it's the way I feel it, big man. I feel it way in my heart. You know why? Because I walk with her every day, you know, everywhere she go, you know. I know if she bump, if me walk, I'm not tell her, I say, Maya, step up. She bump her foot, or she step up late, she begs with me, you know. Say, Daddy, you know, I say, Maya, boy, I tell you lift up, but by the time if you say lift up your foot, you done bounce your foot already. So I just imagine how she live without me, because she there somewhere, and she have good people around her, like I take care of her. I suffer, she suffer.
While suspects have been charged in relation to Jasmine Dean's disappearance, she is yet to be found, which is at the heart of the father's disappointment.
Boy, the police look like more time them have too much things to do. The one police or the two we would have really interested in it. Them have too much things to do. Them can't manage this. Because we are search for somebody and we are program something. You know, come and fight. Because the moment you come and fight, it shift you up. You see me? We are chat the thing. We are follow up the thing. The phone and the card. Right? We find the 2 person them. Right? Then from the law, hold on upon them 2 man, everything cramp this, you know. Because we can't get to track nothing again. You listen to me I say? We can't get to find nothing more. Because them have them 2 man, they lock down. I better them in Lego them 2 man there. I better them never all them would have find my daughter. So when the policeman dead were there, you see how fast them catch a man. See how fast them find the man. Because I saw, when time you're poor, nobody no look upon you, man. See me? But it's always the poor come out to be the best.
The heartbroken dad also said that he still has faith that Jasmine is alive and is asking anyone with information on her whereabouts to contact the nearest police station.
Told me to go on, someone like a people pit in them I look. Liquor pit in them I look to live with. Most of the man them nowadays. And if I have to catch a pitney and carry, I go live with him with them will do that. You know? Because if he's somebody that take her for him girlfriend. Or if it's a sodomite, she want her for herself. But I don't think the little girl did. She just somewhere, man. I don't know if them gone away with her or what, but I know she just somewhere.
Reporting for Mello TV News, I'm Colleen May.
Still making news tonight, a man was shot and killed by a lone gunman along a section of Union Street in Montego Bay earlier today. He has been identified as Barrington Smith, otherwise called Bunty, of a Blood Lane address in the parish. Reports coming into our news center are that Smith was on Union Street with friends when he was attacked and shot multiple times. The police have since launched an investigation. We will bring you more in subsequent newscasts. In news from Trelawney, detectives attached to the Trelawney Police Department say they are still combing sections of the parish in search of a lone gunman who fatally shot a woman in Reserve District on the weekend, minutes after he robbed her of cash and her cell phones and demanded sex from her, which she reportedly refused. The deceased has been identified as 36-year-old Tamara Geddes, unemployed of Reserve District in the parish. Reports are that at about 8:30 p.m. Geddes and her child were at home when a man armed with a handgun entered the house through an open door. The suspect reportedly demanded money and cell phones and was given money and 2 cell phones. However, the man reportedly fatally shot Geddes after she refused his demands for sex. He then escaped into nearby bushes. The Falmouth CIB is investigating. In news from the capital, detectives attached to the St. Andrew North Police Division are currently investigating Friday's shooting of 3 persons, one fatally, along Mannings Hill Road in the parish. The deceased has been identified as 25-year-old Omar Black, a vendor also of a Mannings Hill Road address. He was fatally shot and the other men shot and injured while they were standing at separate locations along the roadway in their community by armed men traveling in a motor vehicle who opened fire, hitting them multiple times. In a news update, a male resident of Western Kingston who was caught on video engaged in a tussle with a member of the Jamaica Defense Force in Western Kingston last Thursday has been deemed as a person of interest by the police. Reports are now emerging that the man in question is being sought for indecent assault, which was allegedly committed against a female soldier who was also trying to apprehend the accused. It's understood that the female soldier filed a report against the accused, whom she says allegedly tried to touch her inappropriately while she was trying to restrain him. Investigators say the man escaped custody hours after being held by soldiers along Oxford Road. They have also stated that charges of indecent assault, assault occasioning bodily harm, and unlawful wounding are pending against the accused. Still making news tonight, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is urging members of the public to guard against the effects of the Saharan dust, which is expected to affect the island until Thursday. Head of the Meteorological Service, Evan Thompson, gave an overview of this phenomenon.
Saharan dust is an area, a layer of dust particles that are suspended in the atmosphere, drifting across the waters of the tropical Atlantic and into the Caribbean basin in this case, and this is coming from the west coast of Africa. Now this is a large expanse of dust particles suspended in the atmosphere. It comes in a large, what they call a plume, that's moving across the area. And so Jamaica is just on the fringe of that plume right now, but is expected to experience more of the activity from this Sahara air layer that is moving across the region. This dust layer from the African coastline across the tropical Atlantic is something that occurs on a regular basis every year, around about this time as we move into the summer, going into the fall or the autumn. That's when it would normally occur. And so this is not really an unusual phenomenon. However, this year we're seeing something that is a lot more intense, a much thicker layer of dust that is moving across the area, and it is expanding much farther than just the Eastern Caribbean, but it's getting through the Central Caribbean and into the west of the region. And so Jamaica is more likely to be impacted this year.
Now, the ministry says members of the public, and especially persons who are already experiencing or are prone to respiratory illnesses, should exercise great care by observing the following precautions. Stay indoors as much as possible. Wear face masks. Wear long-sleeved clothing and protect eyes. Wash hands regularly and avoid touching of eyes. Ensure water that is harvested is treated. Cover water used for domestic purposes, including drinking and food preparation. Still making news tonight, opposition spokesman on tourism Dr. Wicca McNeil says he has been notified that a tourist in the resort township of Negril, Westmoreland has tested positive for the coronavirus COVID-19. He added that the insistence of the opposition People's National Party from the get-go was that all incoming passengers should be tested. Dr. McNeil also stated that he has been informed by the ministry that the individual has since been moved into isolation at a facility in Montego Bay. He is asking the government to revisit the option of pre-testing, as some of these cases can be detected before visitors leave their country of origin. Meanwhile, some tourists in Negril, Westmoreland say they have been unable to return to their homes for the past 3.5 months due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
I came here for the music and the dancing, but I arrived in Corona time, so actually I haven't been in one party. And I'm here 4 months instead of 7. I'm waiting still for my flight, the company, to go back home. All the tourists almost left, you know. I'm like almost me and him. Another 2, maybe 4 are last year in Negril. So I'm enjoying the nature and everything, but you know, it's empty here now, so I'm kind of alone. And back at home, they have parties now on the beach, so I'm kind of jealous.
I'm Kari, and I'm from Finland, and I'm just traveling around the world, and now I am stuck here in Jamaica because of coronavirus. Been here now 3.5 months, so that's my story.
So you like it so far?
Yeah, incredible, lovely island and people. I love it definitely so much, and I will return here someday.
Back in the capital, several hundred Jamaicans have begun disembarking the 2 cruise ships that are docked at the Port Royal Pier in Kingston. More on this report with Killeen May.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced on the weekend that several hundred Jamaicans have begun disembarking the 2 cruise ships which are docked at the Port Royal Pier in Kingston, and that all persons will be processed using the established protocols for testing, sensitization and quarantine as would have obtained for all previous ship arrivals. Member of Parliament for East Kingston and Port Royal PHILLIP Paulwell, who was there to also welcome home the Jamaican cruise ship workers, said that he is there to show his support of the safe return of our fellow Jamaicans.
We are here because we know the tremendous hardship these workers have been through. And yes, we welcome the Jamaicans who arrived to the airport, but I believe it has been very painful for the ship workers. Many of them have been secluded, many of them have been locked away in their rooms on the high seas for many months. And we therefore want to, in a special way, welcome them, and we hope that after all of this is over and done with, you'll be able to secure back your employment and to assist your country.
Councillor for the Springfield Division, Lorraine Dabson, says she is very happy that the Port Royal Pier can facilitate the repatriation of our Jamaicans.
When this pier was opened in February, we were happy to greet the visitors. Now we are thankful today that it is able to facilitate the ship that will bring home our people back to their country. we know the hardship, we know the problem. You're wanting to come home and nowhere was willing to accept you. So today we are thankful that this fort could facilitate their coming home.
Reporting from Mello TV News, I'm Colleen May.
Still making news tonight, Managing Director of the Sugar Company of Jamaica Holdings Limited, SCJH, is categorically refuting claims made by some farmers in St. Thomas. More on this story with Brianna Chambers.
Managing Director of the Sugar Company of Jamaica Holdings Limited, SCJH, Joseph Shakur, says he categorically refutes claims made by some farmers in St. Thomas that adequate notice and provision was not given of relocation plans following the sale of lands to Cos Club Limited.
In the week preceding Cos Club's action, I was advised by Cos Club that it had been sufficiently patient, having purchased the land and or leased the lands for over 2 years, and was still unable to have exclusive possession of the lands. In the circumstances, I asked SCJ personnel on the ground to communicate with each of the farmers remaining on the Cos Club lands to advise them of Cos Club's intended action. It surprises me, therefore, that they were puzzled by Cos Club's move. 2 years ago, when Cos Club acquired the land, there were 64 farmers on the land. To date, as of the date hereof, there are now 6 farmers remaining on the land, many of whom remain on the land because they do not wish to move.
Mr. Shakur also emphasized that the SCJH has spent millions of dollars in ensuring farmers are duly compensated, while some will be allowed to continue farming on these lands.
Many of them will not be disturbed by the new development and will not be relocated. The company has spent well over $350 million in compensation to farmers. There were 7 informal farmers who were occupying and farming parcels of land ranging from a 1/4 acre to 2 or 3 squares. Those farmers have been relocated within the Grange Lane area, each given a formal lease of 2 acres.
Mr. Shakur further emphasized that there's room for both small and large investors in the agricultural sector.
It is of concern to SCJ that there is an apparent effort to smear larger investors who have recently entered the agricultural sector. Fact of the matter is there is room for the large investor and there is room for the small farmer. But if Jamaica is really to achieve its potential, subsistence agriculture cannot be the way forward.
Small farmers who have already relocated said they will not participate in any demonstration against the sugar company, while asking fellow farmers to move towards a workable solution for all.
The demonstration that they're going to have, they don't understand, or maybe they understand, but because they might be big in the country, they feel like maybe more or less they can do whatever they have to do. Now, we are in a position where all we have to do is just, it's a group of us that is here. So we don't have to go there and say nothing to nobody, because we are at home. The problem I tell you we have is water.
For my boss, John Shukir, put me on the side there. I tell you, it benefit more. You think up when me can even get 2 more work or 2 days, make 2 more youth eat food. See, right now we have a second spray with the same way, and we have to give thanks.
We are where before. The only difference is they have more water. Yeah. But guess what? Over here, sir, I don't really have a problem with the land. But the problem you have, you know, the only challenge you have over here, sir, is the water. From I'm in farming, I get 1 piece of land for myself. So guess what? Me not gonna be ungrateful and go tell a man say me I go do no demonstration. It's a no thing for me.
Reporting for Mello TV News, I'm Brianna Chambers.
And those were some of the stories making news. I'll return with other updates as Prime Minister Andrew Holness appoints attorneys Mr. Leslie Campbell and Ms. Tova Hamilton to the Senate. And MP for Central Manchester Peter Bunting has been appointed as co-director of the PNP'S election campaign alongside Eastern Kingston and Port Royal's MP PHILLIP Paulwell. We'll now take a break and then join Christopher Scott with sports.
Coronavirus is in Jamaica, and I know you feel scared and worried. But you can't let COVID-19 divide us. Coronavirus infects all kinds of people. It doesn't discriminate. So why should you? When someone coughs or sneezes or shows signs of the virus, tell them to call 888-1-LOVE immediately. And remember, stay 3 feet away, but don't attack or disrespect them, because we're all in this thing together. Come on, Jamaica, cut the hate and don't discriminate. Let us stand together and fight COVID-19 as one family, one nation.
Tonight on Mello TV Sports, Shannon Gabriel looks set to be added to the West Indies test squad. The Premier League has confirmed one latest positive test of COVID-19, and prosecutors have indicted Carlos Ancelotti. We bowl off Mello TV Sports with cricket as Shannon Gabriel looks set to be added to the West Indies test squad for the series versus England. Now, Gabriel, who was a key player in the Windies' victory over England in the Caribbean, was named only as part of the reserve squad for the tour as he was seeking to prove his fitness following an ankle injury. Coach Phil Simmons has, however, suggested that Gabriel is now bowling as fast as he has seen him for a while, and hinted that if he came through in the warm-up games, he was highly likely to be added to the 14-man test squad. West Indies start their first warm-up game, a 3-day affair, tomorrow. While that inter-squad match may feature some teams of more than 11 players and could see some flexibility around conventional playing arrangements, their next game will be a 4-day first-class match, which looks set to pit the first-choice team against the reserves. Simmons has also hinted that fast bowler Azari Joseph and spin bowling all-rounder Rakeem Cornwall could also feature in the tests. Meanwhile, wicketkeeper batsman Dowrich says he has been concentrating on spending as much time in the middle as he prepares for the series.
Last time I was here, I found it a bit difficult, but this time around, I've just been trying to spend as much time in the middle, keeping to the bowlers, getting a feel for the atmosphere, getting a feel for the ball doing as much. Yeah, it's different from the Caribbean because it doesn't move as much after it passes the bat, but I think the more I get out there and the more I keep practicing it, I'll be able to manage it when it comes game time.
When West Indies last toured England in 2017, Dowrich averaged 4.8. He struggled to adapt to the conditions both with the bat and behind the stumps. Since that tour, however, Dowrich has turned things around and can lay claim to being one of the best wicketkeeper batsmen in the world. Since the start of 2018, no keeper has scored more test runs at a better average. We kick it over to football news now as midfielder Phil Foden and winger Riyad Mahrez both scored twice as defending champions Manchester City today thrashed Burnley 5-0 to ensure Liverpool will have to wait a little longer to wrap up the Premier League title. 3 first-half goals saw City on their way to the most comfortable of wins at Etihad Stadium, with Foden's superb long-range strike breaking the deadlock before Mahrez's double just before the break. Pep Guardiola's side is now 20 points behind the leaders Liverpool with 8 league games remaining. If the defending champion City had dropped points against the Clarets, a win for Liverpool against Crystal Palace at Anfield on Wednesday would have seen them officially take City's crown. Instead, Jurgen Klopp's side must beat the Eagles and then rely on City dropping points against the pensioners Chelsea on Thursday if they are to clinch the title before they visit the Etihad Stadium on July 2. More Premier League news now, as the league has confirmed it has received one positive test of COVID-19 in the latest phase of mass testing. The latest batch of tests, which were conducted between Wednesday and Sunday, were the first to take place since the Premier League restarted last week. This was the 10th round of testing, with just one positive test reported after 1,441 tests in the previous round. A total of 18 people have tested positive from 12,057 tests conducted since the Premier League started mass testing all players and staff in May. Prosecutors in Madrid have indicted Everton coach Carlo Ancelotti on suspicion of avoiding €1 million in taxes due for revenues from image rights while coaching Real Madrid between 2014 and 2015. As well as working for Real Madrid and Everton, Ancelotti has had trophy-laden spells at other European clubs, including AC Milan, Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, and Bayern Munich. A former player who was capped 26 times for Italy and even played in the 1990 World Cup, Ancelotti has won the Champions League 3 times as a coach, twice with Italian giants AC Milan and once with Real Madrid. On to some NASCAR news now. Bubba Wallace's fellow NASCAR drivers pushed his car to the start line for the Geico 500 at Talladega in Alabama to show their support for him a day after a noose was found in his team garage. The 26-year-old, who is the sole black full-time driver, was overcome with emotions by the show of solidarity. The American, who races for Richard Petty Motorsports, posted a selfie on social media in front of his car with his fellow NASCAR drivers standing in unison in the background. The incident involving the noose, a symbol connected to lynching and America's slave history, is being investigated by the FBI and the U.S. Justice Department. Wallace has received plenty of support with the hashtag #IStandWithBubba trending on Twitter, with NBA superstar LeBron James among those in support. Wallace is a vocal supporter of the Black Lives Matter campaign and was instrumental in getting the Confederate flag banned from NASCAR races. NASCAR banned the flag last week. However, a plane towing a Confederate flag was spotted flying over the Talladega Superspeedway yesterday. Now to end tonight's sports package, we take a look at the play of the night. Dwayne Wade's awkward game-winning shot for the Miami Heat against the Golden State Warriors.
Warriors, Heat need a 3 to win. 10 seconds left. Wade against Iguodala. 5 seconds left. Waiters, back to Dwayne. Shoots. No, he couldn't get it off. Now fires it up. Bank it in! It counts! It counts! The Heat win the game! Dwayne Wade won it for Miami. 126 to 125. It just happened.
And those are the stories making sports news tonight. We now head back to the news desk with Shelley and Hill.
Thank you, Christopher. Now, in another news update, the government has announced that as Prime Minister Andrew Holness continues to ensure that his administration is on strong footing to effectively manage Jamaica's economic recovery, he has recommended to the Governor General that Mr. Leslie Campbell, Member of Parliament and Attorney at Law, be appointed Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and Ms. Tova Hamilton, Attorney at Law, to the Senate. Mr. Campbell was sworn in during a brief ceremony at King's House this afternoon by Governor General Sir Patrick Allen, while Ms. Hamilton is to be sworn in at the next sitting of the Senate. Prime Minister Holness says he believes these two appointments will bolster the government's push to drive economic growth and aid the post-COVID-19 recovery effort. And Member of Parliament for Central Manchester and former Minister of National Security Peter Bunting has been appointed to the position of co-director for the party's election campaign alongside Eastern Kingston and Port Royal's Member of Parliament PHILLIP Paulwell. Leader of the PNP, Dr. Peter Phillips, made the announcement on Saturday, which states that effective today, Peter Bunting will also assume the role of leader of opposition business in the House of Representatives. Dr. Phillips says both Mr. Paulwell and Mr. Bunting will be responsible for directing all aspects of the election campaign and will consolidate the diverse energies and talents within the party. In the meantime, Lisa Hanna has been appointed as the Chief Election Campaign spokesperson for the party. And now, to end tonight's newscast, here are the main points. Father of missing U.W.I student Jasmine Dean says Father's Day was very hard and is appealing to anyone with information to come forward. The Ministry of Health and Wellness urges members of the public to guard against the effects of the Saharan dust expected to affect the island until Thursday. And Prime Minister appoints attorneys Mr. Leslie Campbell and Ms. Tova Hamilton to the Senate. And that's our news package for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in to Mello TV Evening News at 8. I am Shelly Ann Hill. Stay safe and pleasant viewing.
The Mello TV Evening News at 8 was brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Reduce your risk of viral illnesses like the flu and coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing with a tissue and dispose of it. Avoid close contact with anyone with the cold or flu-like symptoms. If you think you've been exposed to COVID-19, stay home. Self-isolate immediately and call 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.